Hello guys. So I found two sketchbooks that I didn't show in my first year illustration sketchbook art tour, and I'm kind of screaming at myself because I was in the middle of filming my second year illustration tour, and lo and behold I find some first year work that didn't make it into the original video. So let's do these two first, and these can be their own video. From what I skimmed through, there's some interesting stuff in here. So these were the development sketchbooks behind Image and Text and Origin and Function, and you probably will be able to work out what final work from the first video is actually developed in these two sketchbooks. So starting off with Image and Text. So this was very early days in uni. I don't know whether you can see by the date, but it was the 29th of September 2015. So these were all tribal stuff that we had to research, and this was actually done in introductory week, I think. There's some animal sketches as well. It's not very vibrant. These don't feel like mine though. That's the thing. Like, these sketches just don't feel like mine. It's been so long. I think this assignment was like your own interpretation of mythical creatures, and I think this is Sedna. I'm probably saying this wrong because I pronounce everything wrong, but known in Inuit mythology as goddess of the sea and marine animals. Lovatar, probably said that wrong too. I think we had to pick out characters from mythology that we had to illustrate, and I think we had to do 3, and like every time that I've done things in groups of 3 ever, I would come up with 2 ideas, but then the third one would just get left by the wayside and just a completely pointless, stupid idea. Or it doesn't match up to the quality of the first 2, if that makes sense. So I think this one was the Sandman. And here I did like this thing with watercolour and salt. It didn't really work out too well, but hey, it's an experiment and it's in there. So this was one of those blind games. So you would draw the head, the body, and the bottom. I think the bottom was actually me. So you would have to combine all the ones that you've researched. So these were 2 that other people had researched, combined with Sedna, which is the one that I researched. I think we did dry point etching at some point. I did a picture of an igloo. Oh, this was kind of research based. And research for me always looked really boring, so I would try and spice it up with a couple of illustrations here and there, but it never really went very far or too well. Oh my god. Now that is a cursed image if you've ever seen one. Oh no. No. Oh my god. Oh, these are cursed. Especially that one of the spider with the legs. Oh my god. Oh, wow. Okay. More mythology stuff. Oh, we had to do masks as well. But yeah, I think this. It was either this or this that was my mask design. So you can kind of get a basic premise of what it looked like. But yeah, it was almost like a Day of the Dead sort of concept with it. This was homework of some description. Hell's Angels, military insignia. I actually don't remember doing this. It feels like somebody else's work. It's so crazy that this is mine because it just does not feel like mine. Oh god. There's so many things that I mentally have just blocked out from university. I would constantly use coal erase pencils just to brighten up my sketchbooks because my sketchbooks would always look really messy and horrible. Okay, Dancing Gypsies. What is this? Pen sketches. Witch Doctor. That does not look like mine. Even though it is. Like, it must be mine because it's in here. Oh, I expanded on the sketch. Okay, so homework, artists to look into. I used to write a lot of lists and stuff. I cannot explain some of the assignments we were given because some of them I've completely blocked out of my memory. Some Egyptian research. So I think this project I was going into history and I wanted to do something to do with history, but it was an ancient Egyptian kind of theme instead. And this one I think was definitely the weaker of the two projects. Or at least it had more research behind it. But the outcome just was very lackluster. So character sketches. I wish I would have done more research. I think that's the general theme. Oh, I like that. That's some nice pencil shading here. I actually put some effort into these studies. Okay. I think that's a snake. Oh, layout. Bit of layout work, of course. A character sketch. Some partial illustrated nudity, because what is university illustration work without it? I think I used this card for stencil stuff. That's probably why it's in here. General basic shapes. I would do really messy and only sketches that I would understand myself. Nobody else would understand it, only me. Okay, that's the last of this sketchbook. So I think it's kind of obvious which project actually equals to what final result I showed in the first video. But let's do origin and functions. So I think the first thing we had to do was the origin of illustration and what the functions of illustration would be. So origins of illustration usually was for communication. So one of the assignments was to do an alphabet. So do tiny little illustrations for each of the letters. And this little assignment was mainly about creating your own language. So I had to do a cheat sheet and then a little message. So this is Titanic. And you can kind of see that some of the items on the cheat sheet was actually inspired by the Titanic. So I thought, why not just write the message Titanic? So this was an illustrated alphabet. So this was planning for that. Reference and research. I think this was research on Marie Curie. I can't remember where the final piece for this actually went. But these are the thumbnails. I love this thumbnail. Is it good? No, but I say it's probably the most striking out of all the compositions on the page. So illustration and belief systems. I think something to do with poetry. Then, in this project, we actually went into the cathedral for the first time and we actually had to illustrate things around the cathedral. Now, also during this project, we actually got to go into one of the towers where a lot of the old documents and lots of old books lie. Worcester Cathedral is actually brimming with history, including the tomb of King Henry VIII's brother, Prince Arthur, who was actually heir to the throne before Henry. So the fact that some of my favourite things in royal history actually was in Worcester, and it was like the first time that I'd ever found that out during my first year, I was super excited. So I looked into some of the patterns. This was in the chapel of Prince Arthur. So you have the arms of England and France. So you have the fleur-de-lis, or at least an attempted fleur-de-lis. There was also a hint at typography as well, just trying to get those shapes. So brief 4 was an illustrated map of some description. I don't know whether there is actually an illustrated map in here, but doing a little illustrated map. This is so cute. I don't know whether you can see it because it's very, very faint. I used to go between really hard pencil lines and the faintest of pencil lines. So a coat of arms, the Rio Antiro Bridge. Probably said that wrong. This was definitely research work. A lot of uni work was research, so I'm only really going into the illustration side of things. I'm blocking the partial illustrated nudity. Some more research. Yeah, my research just didn't look very entertaining. We had to draw on a cup of Icarus's fall, like Icarus's wings, who flew too close to the sun. These are the feedback notes, and a lot of them say that it's not very clear because I was not very great at laying stuff out in my first year. So this was a trip that I'd taken during the summer just before university. So this is the gazebo that I did a drawing of. This was actually done for Loki's Tea Time, an illustration that I could redraw at some point. This is a printout of what was in my sketchbook because I couldn't really cut out stuff from my sketchbook at the time. Okay. So yes, this is the development sketchbook behind the comic I did for Jalal in my first year. These were scans from my sketchbook because I would draw in my free time sketchbook and then just paste them into my university sketchbooks. Because of traveling constantly, just doing them in one sketchbook and then pasting them in the different sketchbooks was actually a lot better for carrying around stuff. I didn't want to carry around multiple sketchbooks, so it was just the best option for me. I think this was a comic based on fear, I think. Oh god. Oh, if anything's cursed, it's that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh no. All of this is cursed. All of it. Okay, so these were references for the Jalal comic, and these were printed off at the university. You can tell because my printer was absolute crap. But I can't remember where this is from. I know it's a scene of some movie, and I physically can't remember. Maybe there's some notes in here that will tell me, but I don't know, other than that. Oh my god. There's a really, really rough draft. I think my teacher actually did this rough draft just to show me what he was talking about, but it's just a funny memento from this class. Oh my god. Oh no. We have a rough draft, and this was done in my other sketchbook, like a lot of my other work. To be honest, with the cut and pasting of work between different sketchbooks, this really shows how much I struggled with commuting and trying to find a good balance in my first year. It was just a lot. I actually did a silent comic based on a nursery rhyme during my second year, which you'll see in the next video of this series. But yeah, there's some really, really rough sketches right here. I hate this. It's like somebody flattened his face. Oh my god. This was how my rough drafts looked at the time. Oh my god. This one I don't think really changed to the final piece. If anything, this one looks like somebody's stood on his face. But I've always really, really liked this face for some reason. It just turned out well. More rough drafts. Oh, this was coming up for the drafts for Jalal's parents. Technically, this sketch was these sketches. These were just before I had rubbed out and changed stuff about it, so... Well, I really hope you enjoyed these sketchbooks. I'm sorry I missed these in the original video. I think these were the development sketchbooks that were definitely missing, but I will see you in my next video of whatever I decide to do. Bye guys!